I am Maaike Vanhee. I have been in the project since 2020, so that's almost 6 years that I've been. I moved to Riga 5 years ago, and my job on a daily basis is to look into the design, to look on how we are going to build it, what has been designed, and to define all the intermediate steps that are necessary. It's like translation of the design into something that is constructible. Last month we have achieved one of our first internal milestones here in the project. What we have done is we have transferred the load of the roof of the station building from temporary configuration into final configuration. So almost 2 years ago we finished building of the structural part. We have built the concord slab, the big slab on top and the feet of the arches, but they could not be put into permanent position because the temporary loads that would act on this temporary configuration would induce such a high load on the columns and the foundations below that the columns were cracked. So we left the building in a temporary configuration until we were allowed to proceed with the next stage of works. And the next stage of works, which is required to shift from temporary to final configuration, is to build the stay cables that pull the feet of the arches together. The technology that has been used in this building to keep the roof together is the one of stay cable system. Here in Riga, one of the most famous examples of stay cable system is konstrukciju, that we all know about it. So the typical use of this system is in bridges, not in buildings. So here the system has been applied, but because it's unique, for sure it's unique in Latvia, I think also in Europe, the unique application of this system has given a lot of technical difficulties and challenges that we have been able to solve in the last month. This system with 55 strands can take up to 9,000 kilonewtons. So we are at a very low utilization ratio of the steel, which is why it has made it so complex. So after we have pulled the cables together, we could then shift the building from temporary to permanent, which is by casting the concrete on top of the concord slab and grouting the connection of the bearing from feet of the arch to the foundation and the columns below, everything within 1 day. So the challenge in construction is that if you have a hyperstatic structure, that it is very dangerous because you can have very high loads in places where they should not come. And this is what has happened in this building here. Because of this design that it was made, we had to do everything possible to shift this load configuration from temporary to permanent as fast as possible. So our team has worked 72 hours non-stop, working day and night with all the different teams all together to make it as fast as possible. So this part of this load transfer is the technically most complex part of all the work that are ongoing now in the project. It was structurally very difficult because of the sensitivity of the structure. Usually in construction we work with tolerance of 1-2 centimeters in concrete reduction. Here if you will have an increased elongation to strands of 1 millimeter, it means a change in the load that is not acceptable anymore. So we had very high precision, very high accuracy and a very high time pressure. So what we have done with the team is a lot of coordination beforehand. Months in advance we spent coordinating every single detail to understand how it is going, what are the risks, what are the options, what can go wrong. And all the teams spent a lot of effort in putting all the minds together to make it as fast and good as possible and eliminate risks on the process. Before we had tension the cables, we were not allowed to because the wind loads that would act on the roof if it was constructed would be too high for the building in temporary condition. So right now that the building is in permanent condition, we can build the roof. The roof will be completed with the glazed part after the winter is over, because you need to have a nicer weather to build the glazing on top. And after all the roof is constructed, then we will need to do a final adjustment in the stay cables to bring the building in final permanent condition like it. So this was a big important milestone for Bererix in the project, because right now we are able to close these remaining final openings that are still in the platform, and once we close this one we can really make a building that is waterproof and we can finish the building on the inside. So reaching this milestone on time is allowing us to proceed with the works as planned to reach the next milestone as well. So our team has worked for 72 hours continuously, day and night, just to make the milestone happen and to do it in the correct way. Reaching this milestone last month has allowed us to keep the works on track like they should be, to reach the next milestone and to reach the completion of the building on time.